Hello and welcome back to White Lines Cricket. Lewis again here today, back sort of for the first proper video on the channel. We're going to be doing an Ashes first test analysis today. Obviously the first test is done, second test is now underway, but we're going to review the first one. It'll be an audio file today because of camera problems, but in future it will be on camera. Yes, obviously England lost the game by 10 wickets. Australia running out as victors, and if you've seen it, it's a pretty good match. England won the toss and batted first. We're going to go through the teams quickly. So England went with Cook, Stoneman, Vince, Root, Milan, Ali at 6, Bairstow, Wokes, Broad, Ball and Anderson. Then Australia went with Bancroft on debut, Warner, Khawaja, Smith, Hanscom, Marsh, Payne, Stark, Cummins, Hazelwood and Lyon. So the only real team news is England went with Milan at 5 over Balance. Moeen Ali moved up to 6 in place of Ben Stokes. Obviously, Ben Stokes at the time was in England sorting out his legal problems after he was arrested for assault, I believe. So yeah, he's out in New Zealand now playing for Canterbury, but yeah, we'll see where that goes. So Ali moved up to 6. For some reason Bairstow didn't just move up a place and Ali moved up a place, but England seem to have that weird obsession with a wicketkeeper batting at 7 at the minute. Even though I feel like Bairstow should be keeping wicket at 5, but there we go, that's my opinion, I'm not a selector. Yeah, Ali moved up to 6, and then Jake Ball was preferred to Craig Overton as the bowling replacement for Ben Stokes. So obviously a batsman down, but England, batting up to 8 if you class Wokes as an all-rounder. They should have been covered. For Australia, Bancroft, as I said, made his debut, whilst Tim Payne came in for his first match in 78 games over Peter Neville, who was dropped after a poor run of form. Obviously, Brad Haddin in Australia as well, helping out Tim Payne, 32-year-old. So, yeah, he'll be keeping wicket. And obviously, Nathan Lyon, after all this talk, led the spin attack for Australia. So, the first day saw 2 of England's uncertain players, if you like, hit relatively big scores. Mark Stoneman made 53 and James Vince made 83. He hit some lovely fours, Vince, on the offside, but he was run out excellently by Nathan Lyon, who was, already living up to his talk. Vince came out after and said that he wouldn't have taken the run, which, is a bit of an obvious thing to say, but it would have been nice to see Vince go on, make a century, but it wasn't to be. The 2 main losses for the day, Alistair Cook went for 2 and Joe Root for 15. But I suppose in a way, it's good because pundits, obviously not good that they're out, but pundits have said that England have relied so much on Cook and Root, their 2 best players, but 2 best batsmen, so to say. But, the 2 of the more fringe players made scores. Root was given out on review, an LBW who was all over the place at the time. So yeah, he was out for 15. And then David Milan and Moeen Ali saw out the day for England, 196 for 4. So it was a pretty evenly poised first game. Not many runs, but first day that is, not many runs, but yeah, some good Test cricket. And the pitch looked a bit un-Aussie-like. Australia loving the short stuff as well, and the spinners were doing some damage as well. So the pitch was slow, but the Australians continued with the short ball, and eventually it paid off because Milan got out for 56. Good to see him get a half century again. 3 of the top 5, the 3 fringe players, making 50s. Yeah, off a top edge. So obviously the Australian plans worked there. And going on about that short ball, according to CricViz, Australia's bowlers had bowled 32%. The Australian quicks obviously had bowled 32%. Of their ball short at the 90th over, but that changed to 74%, which obviously is a big switch in percentage, obviously clear of Smith's tactics. So 6 for 56 on the second day, dismissed England by lunch, which wasn't great. Their hard work on day 1 seemed undone. Just to name a few scores, Bairstow got 9, Wokes got 0, so obviously that wasn't great. And then Ali got 38. With the ball, England started relatively well. Debutant Bancroft made only 5. Warner made 26. So obviously, Australia sort of in a similar place to England with their top order. Warner and Smith, you've got as their main players, and then other players around them sort of trying to fill the void, nail a place down. Usman Khawaja made 11 and Hansker made 14. This left the Aussies at 76-4. But Smith, as he does greatly, came in. He stayed in and he joined up with Sean Marsh in a partnership that led Australia to 175-5 when Marsh fell. But Smith powered on. Others around him fell. Cummins made a good 42. But Steve Smith was the star of the show. 141 not out. And Australia made 328. So, relatively good score after their poor start. England bowlers wouldn't have been happy. But, you know, it's a lead of 26. It's good Test cricket. And going into the second innings for each team, you know, it was finely poised. And England finished the day on 33 for 2. Day 3, that is, which was effectively 7 for 2 after losing both Cook and Vince early to Hazelwood for 7 and 2 respectively. So Vince couldn't follow on for his early performance, and Alistair Cook makes another poor score after a first innings foul as well. So we're hoping he can power on in the second test. Day 4 was where it fell for England. They slumbered to a mere 195 all out. Lyon had a lot of fun, taking 3 wickets, which was also accompanied by Stark and Hazelwood with 3 each as well. And then Cummins got the 1. England players got starts, some of them, but they failed to get going properly. Stoneman got 27, Root got 51, Ali got 40, Bairstow got 40. The only ones to make scores, but as you can see, none of them capitalised, and you need someone to go on and make that big score, such as Steve Smith, making that 141. So, you know, England set a poor score. 195 all out isn't great in Test cricket. So, in terms of dismissals, there's a little bit of controversy about Moeen Ali's dismissal. He was stumped by Tim Payne off the bowler of Nathan Lyon, and it seemed a bulge in the crease got him out. Like the back, obviously, like the back foot was on the line, but wasn't behind the line. It seemed like the crease had gone out a bit, meaning that he was not behind the line. But you know, it's the same for both teams, so it is what it is. Spin was doing well. The ball was turning around corners almost. Ali, there was questions about his fitness. Root was bowling a bit as well. Did England need Mason Crane, the young leg spinner? Obviously, he wasn't around. Australia cruised to 114 not out for 0. David Warner made 60. Bancroft made 51. Game was all good. Ali said at the end of day 4, we need some wickets tomorrow for the mental stuff. So I suppose he'd given up. To be fair, game was over. Australia didn't need many more runs at the start of day 5. You know, 114 for 0 when you're chasing a relatively low score as it is. 10 wickets in hand, needing very few runs. And both your openers have made 50s by the end of the day. So, you know, game was done. They came back on day 5 though, and the Aussies sailed to a win by 10 wickets. So an absolute thumping in the end, despite the good first 3 days of Test cricket. Wokes and Ball were relatively poor. Anderson and Broad were okay as always, and Moeen didn't look fit when he was bowling. He really didn't. Root was bowling as well, and they could have done with the extra spinner of Mason Crane. So there's a few calling for him in the second test, but the squad came out a day or so prior to the second test, and the only difference was Overton was added to the 11, making 12, and then to the second test, Overton obviously came in for Ball, but we won't touch on that because that'll be in the second test analysis. Smith was a little critical after the game of the defensive tactics of England. I mean, in a way, I don't think he'd be moaning because his side came out on top, but maybe he was suggesting Root could have changed his tactics around a little bit. Still relatively new captain, Joe Root. He'll live and he'll learn. Hopefully he can get us a result in Australia. It was a weird pitch. It wasn't a typical Australian pitch. It was very slow. We'll probably see a little bit of a difference as the series goes on, but spin was good, which is why a few are calling for Mason Crane. A lot of the talk after the game actually was on England's trash talk in a way. Piers Morgan came out and said that England were embarrassing. Shane Warne said that as well. There's talk about Johnny Bairstow's headbutt on Bancroft in a tour game before that, and Bairstow and Bancroft are both saying that it didn't mean anything. It was just like an awkward welcome in because Bancroft wasn't expecting it. It's how Bairstow says hi to his rugby mates, etc., etc. So hopefully that's in the past now. I think Ben Stokes is a big factor here because England are really missing him. They're really missing Ben Stokes because he's one of their best players. He's a senior player. He's originally the vice captain, but after what he's done, there we go. But there's rumours about what's been going on in terms of why he did it. But again, it's not acceptable, is it? This police investigation is still going on. He's in New Zealand, which obviously close to Australia. But there are rumours he might come in for the third test, which we're really hoping for because we need him with his bowling and his batting. So he'd probably come in for, I suppose if you're looking at the first test, he'd come in for ball. And then, Stokes will come in at 6, and then Bairstow 7, Ali 8, Wokes 9, and then Broad and Anderson at 10 and 11. Unless they wanted to go with spin, then Wokes would probably drop out if they went for the extra spinner, but I can't really see that happening. There's a few pundits saying 5-0 could be on the cards, not necessarily because of the quality, because England were in it for a lot of the game, and it was just really that second innings where their batting fell and they got to 195 because that was poor. But if they lose a second test, it'll go on to 2-0 and 5-0 be in their head, and they want to avoid that. In terms of improvements, it's hard because you probably want Mason Crane in there. So you got Cook, Stoneman are going to open, Vince at 3, Root at 4, Milan at 5. I'd probably have Bairstow in at 5 and then Stokes at 6 if he comes in. I can't see him going with that though. I probably want the extra batsman in there at 5. Then you've got Ali at 7, Wokes at 8, Broad at 9, Crane at 10, Anderson at 11 if they want to go down that route, which would mean Ball and Milana dropping out. But that's a lot of bowling options. And, Mason Crane, if the ball's spinning in the first test and then Mason Crane's still not involved for the second, I know the pitch is going to be a little bit different, but he's gonna have to do well to come in. There was rumours about Ali's fitness, but he is in the squad for the second test, so there we go. So obviously England lost the first test. We're into the second test now. I'm not gonna give any spoilers away. If you wanna know how it's going, search it up. Let us know what you thought of the first test in the comments below. Let us know what you think the rest of the tour is gonna pan out like. Let us know what you think of the Ben Stokes situation, and let us know what your England squad would be as well. You can tweet us on Twitter at WhiteLinesMedia. You can tweet me on Twitter at LLC Browning or Sam on Twitter. That's in the description as well. Let us know what you thought and let us know how you think the rest of the Ashes is going to go. I hope you did enjoy. If you did, please remember to like, subscribe, comment down below, follow everything in the description, graphic designer, partners, all the other channels, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.